Hello everybody, thank you for joining me today. I do truly appreciate it, and I consider myself lucky in many ways. Lucky to be here. I got a 15-year-old son, and he's behind the wheel, and he's doing all right, but he's learning, and I'm trying to cope and be a good teacher and be calm and not let anybody die. And at the same token, I just got to read what is, so far, in the end of April 2025, the best book I've read so far, and the best Philip Fracassi book that I've read so far. A guy that I've been saying for a while now is one of my favorite authors on God's green earth, and I've got to stop saying that. It's not accurate. It's not accurate enough. My favorite author on God's green earth, Philip Fracassi, has written a book called The Autumn Springs Retirement Home Massacre. And if you haven't heard of it, I strongly suggest when this thing becomes available to the general population on September 30th, 2025, you make sure that you've arranged for it to be at your house and in your grubby little mitts. Or if you do this gimmick here, this Kindle thing, which is how I read it, that you buy it and read it. I was fortunate, another bit of luck. NetGalley and Tor Nightfire hooked the brother up. They helped me to read, to have access to this book so I could read it early, and I am so glad. I had to use my wife's Kindle and beg NetGalley to beg Tor Nightfire to let me read Philip Fracassi's book. So I'm just the charity case. But anyway, I read that book, and it's everything I want in a book. It knocked the socks off. I mean, the socks are literally off. No socks. But Philip Fracassi is my favorite author on God's green earth. I'm just going to go ahead and say that now for the first time, unveiling. But anyway, I've got a pretty good collection here of Philip Fracassi stuff, some limited editions and quite a few books, even though he's got 6-7 books and some collections. But I've talked to you about, I think, all of them that I've read anyway. And this would be my sixth Fracassi read. Boys in the Valley, Gothic, A Child Alone with Strangers, SARAFINA, The Third Rule of Time Travel. Those are the 5 that I've read. 5 novels of his that I've read. I've got some others that I haven't read yet. Some collections that I haven't read. And I've read some other stuff, novellas and things. But 5 novels that I'd read before the Autumn Springs Retirement Home Massacre. And up until now, I pretty much would say barely. A Child Alone with Strangers was my favorite. Barely ahead of Boys in the Valley. And then, I'm not going to go down the list, but this, for my taste, beats them all. And they're all great, but this one beats them all. So this is great, in the words of Tony the Tiger. Yes, I'm old. And Kellogg's Frosted Flakes do bring out the tiger in you and the child in me. But I just finished the Autumn Springs Retirement Home Massacre. I just finished it 20 minutes ago. And I'm hungry. And it's been a long, hard Sunday, working hard in the sun. Poor me. But I need to talk about this book while it's fresh on my mind. This book is so many things. I don't know if this is a flattering way to describe it, or even if it paints the best picture. I don't know. But in many ways, this is a slasher. It's got some of the stereotypical slasher things in it. We'll talk a little bit about that. But it's kind of like a Golden Girls meets Bubba Hotep, if you're a Joe R. Lansdale fan, or a Don Coscarelli fan. I think Don Coscarelli did that. I think. With the slasher stuff in it. But I'll often say this about great books. It's characters that make books. There's a lot of stories out there, and almost any story can be great. And there's a lot of settings available, and any setting can be great. It's the characters, it's the writing, it's the heart that makes a story great. And so this is a story at a retirement home. There are elderly people, 70s, 80s, 90s maybe. I think they were 70s and 80s was primarily what I remember. But lots and lots of retirees, some of them in very bad shape, some of them in good shape for their age. And for a variety of reasons, they're in this Autumn Springs retirement community home, kind of in the country, out of town. Some are there because their families don't want to take care of them. Some are there because they don't want to be a burden on their families. Some are there because they're worried what happens if I get hurt at home. Nobody's here to help me. Some are there because they need constant medical care. Some are there because they got no place else to go. A lot of different things like you would imagine in a retirement home. And Philip Fracassi does a great job of showing us the human side of these people at the Autumn Springs retirement home. In fact, I think he put a lot of effort into making sure that we understand these are people, these are humans, they have feelings. They know that you're too busy for them. They know that they have been minimized. They know that really in many cases, the rest of the world would rather not hear from them or rather not even know they're there. They also know that they've got life left to live. They still have hopes, dreams, and ambitions. Even at this point in their lives, they still have feelings and love and fun, and they want to enjoy what's left the best that they possibly can, and they still feel the pain, and they still have fear, and he does a great job of humanizing this cast for us, of making me care about these individuals, not this group of people, these individuals in this story. And so we'll start out Rose Dubois, and I think as soon as I saw the name Rose Dubois, I immediately thought of the Golden Girls between Rose, what was her name, Rose Nylund and Blanche Devereaux. I don't know. That came to mind. The kind of names popped in. But we start right off with Rose Dubois, who is our almost 80-year-old final girl. She plays the final girl character in this book, and I'm not going to spoil anything for you. I'm not going to tell you anything about how the story goes or how it ends, but when I talked about what all it is, I said the Golden Girls, a slasher, Bubba Hotep, and then also you got to throw in that whodunit, that Nelson DeMille, that Agatha Christie, that kind of stuff, that Lawrence Block burglar series, Bernie Rodenbar, that whodunit. We're trying to find out who is the killer. It's the Autumn Springs Retirement Home Massacre. Somebody is murdering the residents at Autumn Springs Retirement Home, murdering them one at a time, different ways. We get to see, we get to read the killer killing these people. So to the reader, it's no question about whether or not people are being murdered. But each one of these murders is being played off as an accident, a suicide, a medical emergency, and things like that. And so one by one, residents are dying. And people are saying, hey, it's a retirement home. People die. That's just the way it is. Get over it. But some of these residents, including Rose Dubois, including another one of our main characters there, Beauregard Mason Miller. What a fabulous name and a fabulous character, fabulous guy. Beauregard Mason Miller and some others, they're starting to believe that these coincidental deaths from all these different causes, that the director, our director, Jerry, administrator of this retirement home, Jerry Blackwell, is doing his best to make sure everybody understands these are just deaths to be expected. Sure, there's more happening right now than usual, but it's just a streak, a bad streak, and it's the way it goes. Sometimes you get ups and downs and lots and few and stuff like that. But they're trying their best to convince the residents, the police, and everybody that there's nothing to see here. It's just business as usual at a retirement home. It's just what you're supposed to expect. And so there, Rose, she's got sort of a private eye mind. She can't just let it go. She has to solve the mystery. and she has an uncanny ability, an instinct for trying to solve the mysteries, to unravel the threads, to put the puzzle pieces together, and such as that. And so we get to know a lot of characters at the Autumn Springs retirement home. Philip introduces us to many, many, many characters, and it's not overwhelming. You get a rush at first, some characters, but then as you go, you get introduced to a new one. You get to know some of their neat things about them, some of their quirks, some of their interests and things, and see how some of them die. So part of it is, will they survive? Part of it is, who is doing this? And that's the fun part of this book, because I was quite literally making a list, pen and paper, of who are my suspects. And I was using the Dwight Schrute methodology of trying to identify suspects. So, in a mystery, Dwight Schrute from The Office, in a murder mystery, the obvious way to solve the mystery is you take the persons that you most suspect and you throw them out. And you take the persons that you least suspect and you throw them out. And the killer is obviously the person that you most medium suspect. Well, I was using that methodology, and if you've ever watched The Office, many episodes, you'll know that while Dwight Schrute sometimes has some keen insight, his track record is not, he's more of the 50-50 kind of guy at best. So maybe my methodology was just bogus and bullpocky. You got to read the book to find out if it's who you most medium suspect, or you least suspect, or you most suspect. But that's a big part and the fun part of it. And then I don't want to go too far in anything else, but you got a character named Rose who you get behind, and you want to see her solve the puzzle. You want to see her relationships work. You want to see her family work. You care about this person, and we get to find it all out. We get to follow her through it. And so there's also a bit of a love interest in a way. You see, Rose Dubois has a backstory, like all of us do, like anybody at a retirement home would. A backstory. And Miller, Beauregard Mason Miller, they call him Miller. He's got the hots for Rose. And he's got a backstory too. Miller's a secretive guy. He doesn't talk about his past. And Rose talks about some of her life, but not a lot of it. She doesn't talk about her husband who is no longer alive, or any of that kind of stuff. And we as a reader find out right away that she knows Miller likes her, wants more from her, wants to have a relationship, like a dating love interest sort of a relationship. And she is not going to let it happen. She refuses, and she hints. And as the book goes on, you find out the whole story, you find it all out. But she tells us, the reader, she's not going to go for it. It's just not going to happen. The best she can offer is a sort of a friendship, even though she admits that she enjoys him. She likes so many things about him. She doesn't trust, and she's not going to make herself vulnerable, and she's going to be independent, and she's going to take care of herself, and it's going to be her way. Till she dies, it's going to be her way, and nobody else is going to intrude upon that. Also, her daughter. She's got a good daughter. Like a lot of these folks, they got kids that don't want to hear from them. They want you to stay where you belong, stay out of our lives. Some of them have no family at all, and they're all alone. But she's got a daughter named Sybil, and a grandson who she loves and adores, and loves her and adores her, and she doesn't get to see him as often as she'd like. And her daughter Sybil is now dating a guy named Carlo. And she says Carlo's a great guy, but Rose is so suspicious. She just knows this guy is awful. She just knows he's bad. And we get to see how that story plays out too. And we get the whole shebang, and there's extra stuff thrown in here, stuff that I didn't expect until I got there. Some other elements. But the Autumn Springs Retirement Home Massacre is 5 stars. 5 stars. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. How many stars was that? I don't know. 5 stars, guaranteed 10 out of 10. I love this book. I can't see it getting knocked out by the end of the year, but there's a lot of years to go, a lot of year left, and a lot of reading to do, hopefully for me. But it's the best book I've read in a while. The best new book I've read in a long time, in a while. Very good. The best one I've read so far this year. And the best Philip Fracassi book that I've read. So I've ordered it already from Underbrush Books. And they, when you buy it, I think you can still get it. When I ordered it, they were offering signed book plates with the book. I'll put a link in the description for Underbrush Books, The Autumn Springs Retirement Home Massacre, Tor Nightfire, Philip Fracassi. I'll put a link in there. Please go buy it. My good friend Philip Fracassi, he's worth your time. He's worth your dinero. He's worth it. He's one of the greats out there. It is a true horror story. It fits in that slasher box so well, and it has a different take on it, and it's an awesome way to do it. So it's different. It's not like all the rest. It's got a different take, and it works so well, and it's a healthy read. It's 416 pages according to Tor Nightfire, Macmillan Publishing. I read it on the Kindle, so you just get the percentages there. But 416 pages is what they're saying it's going to be. I didn't mention there's a detective in play, a detective trying to solve the problems and figure out, are these deaths murder? Are these deaths coincidence, natural causes, to be expected, stuff like that? But he's another good character. He doesn't want to go busting his behind, tracking down killers, finding problems where there aren't any. But he's also not willing to just write it off. He wants to do the investigation the right way and go where the investigation leads him. So he's another great character there, Detective Ernie Hastings. And we get to know a lot about Ernie Hastings as well. But anyway, I cannot recommend this book highly enough. As a Philip Fracassi fan and a Philip Fracassi defender, he has outdone himself here. I can only hope that we get more like this, more of these people. Although so far he's not really a guy that goes back. So far he's finished his stories and moved on to the next thing, and he's done a very good job of that. So keep doing what you're doing, Philip. I dig it, man. I appreciate your work. And with that being said, there are plenty of details I could tell you, but I think I'll leave it where we leave it. I can think of no more lies to tell, so thank you for your time. I do truly appreciate it. And say la vie, baby.